story begins with a group of thieves named Charlie, Mia, Johnny, and West driving a truck containing a washing machine filled with cocaine. The theft was discovered and pursued by a team of drug detectives: Vincent, Hayes, Jack, and Cortez. During the chase, Mia, driving the truck, drove swiftly and evaded every police officer. Eventually, the group of thieves threw one of the washing machines directly into the detective's car, hitting Cortez, causing serious injuries. Seeing that their friend was seriously injured, the detectives let the group of thieves go and chose to take their friend to the hospital. Meanwhile, homicide detective Patrick Welker is seen buying toys for his daughter's Christmas present. He then contacts his ex-wife and asks her to let him see his daughter. Despite Welker's repeated attempts to persuade her and promises of money, his wife refuses to let him. Simultaneously, Welker discovers that his new assistant, Eli, so far, is trying to arrest a man for assaulting his girlfriend. Since this case isn't their job, Welker invites Eli along for patrol. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Mia, Charlie, Johnny, and West went somewhere to meet someone, but the only ones who met the person directly were Mia and Charlie. It turned out that the person they wanted to meet was Sui, the head of the local triad. FYI, triad is a criminal organization of Chinese ethnicity. So previously, Mia stole Sui's car. As a result, Mia had to work for him in any way to pay off her car. Mia and Charlie were then brought before Sui by Sui's uncle, Ching. However, because Sui and Ching still had a dispute, Sui called Ching out. At that moment, a car containing 3 masked men arrived and was about to enter the building. But before they could, one of the mysterious figures warned Jing to leave. Ching fled through the stairs. Meanwhile, the 3 masked men immediately opened fire on Sui and the rest of his men. Mia and Charlie managed to escape. Elsewhere, Welker and Eli, who were on patrol, received a call about a shooting involving Sui. The two immediately went there. Upon arriving at the scene, another detective informed Welker that the perpetrator had fled in a car. Welker was also informed about the accident that had left Cortez in critical condition. There, Eli obtained CCTV footage from the upper floor of the building, showing 2 suspected perpetrators attempting to escape. They turned out to be Mia and Charlie. However, Welker seemed unsure whether Charlie and Mia were the perpetrators, as the weapons they were carrying were only bullets. The victims' wounds appeared to be from assault rifles. Afterward, Welker rushed to meet Lawrence Bowman, a mayoral candidate, a conglomerate with real estates, and Charlie's father. Welker then showed Lawrence CCTV footage of Charlie, the alleged shooter. This naturally made Lawrence's blood boil, and he became restless. Moreover, the victim was the son of a gang leader. Lauren persuaded Welker to help her, or else she would reveal Welker and his friends' secrets. So what secrets was Lauren talking about? We'll find out later. Because Lauren didn't want this case to interfere with her campaign, she was willing to pay Welker any price to help her find Charlie's body. But Welker only had one request. If she succeeded in bringing Charlie home, their business would end there, and Welker refused to be ordered around by Lauren anymore. The two agreed to the deal. Elsewhere, Sui's mother and the leader of the group, commonly known as the Modor, was seen meeting Ching her younger brother. Without further ado, Mother Bone shot Qing's bodyguards dead and pointed her gun at Qing's head. Modor then asked about her son's death because Qing was also at the scene. However, Qing blamed Charlie for the incident. So, Modor told Qing to look for Charlie, and if he couldn't find him, he wouldn't hesitate to kill Qing. Meanwhile, Welker went to his friend's clinic after receiving information that Xuai's guard had survived the shooting. Welker then interrogated the man about what Charlie did on the night of the incident. The man also admitted that Charlie and Mia were not involved in the shooting, and the real perpetrators of the shooting were 3 men wearing demon masks. Afterward, Welker stopped by the hospital to visit Cortez, as he had previously been part of their team. There, he also met Vincent, Hayes, and Jacques, who knew that Welker was trying to keep Charlie from being captured. Welker then investigated Cortez, who was being guarded by his wife. There, his wife said that Cortez greatly admired Welker. Cortez also once told of his fears during their assignment. That's where Welker remembered his past behavior when he, Vincent, Hayes, Jack, and Cortez were still working for Lauren. However, Walker had been separated from them for several months due to a problem. So, previously, they were assigned to steal illegal drugs. However, in their attempt, Vincent killed one of the police officers who caught them in their illegal task. This also sparked an argument between Welker and them, because at that time, Welker did not agree that Vincent would kill another police officer. In essence, they often did dirty work by stealing illegal goods. Meanwhile, Mia and Charlie went to Mia's uncle, Raoul, where he tried to help them get their passports so they could travel abroad. He also told Mia not to contact him until he called first. Meanwhile, Welker returns to the office where Eli hands over the bloodied mask piece he found at the crime scene. Afterward, Welker is summoned by his superiors, who inform him that Eli is no longer working with Welker, but with Richardson. Welker also has no further involvement in the case. This is because they know the man caught on CCTV is Charlie, and Welker is trying to cover it up. However, Eli gives Welker information about Mia's uncle's whereabouts. Elsewhere, Lauren, who was stuck in traffic, was suddenly approached by a group of motorbike riders, who immediately shot at Lauren's bodyguards. It turns out they were men ordered by Modor, who then kidnapped Lauren. Besides, Welker immediately went to Mia's uncle, Raoul. That's where Welker learned that Raoul had made fake passports for Mia and Charlie so they could leave the country. Welker then told Raoul that Mia and Charlie couldn't leave the city unless they got his help. Wanting his niece to be safe, Raoul was forced to believe him and gave him his cell phone, but with the condition that Raoul had to pretend they had never met. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Modor is seen chatting with Qing, where Qing reveals that he had a dispute with Sui the night of the incident, before Sui finally told him to leave. At the same time, West appears to inform him that they were not the perpetrators who shot Sui, but rather 3 people who came wearing masks. However, that is not what Modor wants to hear, and orders his men to kill West. As a result, West admits that he will take them to Mia and Charlie. Meanwhile, Welker texts Mia using Raul's phone and says that they will meet at a club to hand over his passport. Arriving at the club, Welker found only Mia without Charlie. Even though Welker had said that Lauren had sent him to bring Charlie, Mia still didn't believe him and tried to avoid Welker, until finally Mia saw 3 men enter the club and said that the 3 people were the perpetrators who shot Sui. And when Welker saw the 3 people, it turned out they were Vincent, Hayes, and Jack. So Welker tried to protect Mia from the 3. It didn't stop there. The modern underlings also started to arrive and started a commotion with them. Amidst the commotion, Mia tried to escape, while Welker stopped the men who tried to chase her. Mia also armed herself with a butcher knife to fight off the pursuers. Besides fighting the modern henchmen, Welker also had to fight a shootout with his 3 friends to ensure Mia's escape. Simultaneously, Charlie, Raoul, and Johnny arrived to pick Mia up. However, Welker immediately convinced Charlie to come with him because he was Lauren's envoy. So, Welker, Mia, Charlie, Raoul, and Johnny tried to leave the scene. But unfortunately, the modern henchmen grew in number and even shot Johnny to death. Welker did his best to protect Charlie from the danger. Meanwhile, Raoul sacrificed himself by blocking the door to confront the modern henchmen. Meanwhile, Mia followed Welker and Charlie's lead. After a gunfight, they finally managed to escape the club and get into a car. But that didn't stop them from being shot, as a large number of modern henchmen were already ready to attack them outside. Fortunately, Welker, Mia, and Charlie managed to accelerate and leave. Meanwhile, Modder's men kill West and flee as the police begin to arrive. In the chaos, Vincent and Jack managed to survive, while Hayes died in the gunfire. Shortly after, Welker contacted Eli and informed everyone that Vincent, Hayes, and Jack were involved in the case. The 3 of them weren't actually chasing the truck to arrest Mia and the others, but rather to retrieve the cocaine inside. The 3 of them also conspired with Ching, who promised to hand over a list of cocaine customers. In exchange, Vincent, Hayes, and Jack were asked to kill Sui, as Ching was jealous that Sui was a strong candidate for the next leader of the group. Afterward, Welker ordered Eli to go to the hospital and check on Cortez. Unfortunately, Ching had already arrived at the hospital. There, Ching called Vincent, venting his anger over Vincent's failure to complete his task properly. Ching had previously provided information about the truck and Mia and Shirley's whereabouts. Consequently, Ching taught Vincent a lesson by killing Cortez. Not only that, Ching also tried to kill Cortez's wife. However, Eli soon appeared and tried to help Cortez's wife. Unfortunately, Ching instead brutally shot Cortez's wife, killing her before fleeing. Not to be taken lightly, Eli immediately pursued Ching, and the 2 exchanged fire on the emergency stairs. It was at this point that Eli managed to overwhelm Ching with a series of attacks and immediately captured him. Meanwhile, Welker takes Charlie and Mia to his old cabin. Welker then tries to contact Lauren to say her son is with her. However, it turns out that Modder is the one who answers the phone. As a result, Modder now knows Charlie and Mia's whereabouts. Without waiting long, they immediately go to their location, taking Lauren with them. elsewhere. Eli then goes to Welker's ex-wife's house because Welker hasn't answered his phone. So, Welker's wife tells him that Welker is usually at her father's old cabin, far from the city. Eli then uses Ching to lure Vincent and Jack into meeting beside the tracks. As Vincent and Jack begin to approach, Eli immediately aims his gun at them. Meanwhile, Modor and his triad troops arrive at Walker's cabin and immediately launch a full-scale attack. Walker also provides Mia and Charlie with weapons to counterattack. The shooting lasted quite a while and resulted in many casualties. However, due to the outnumbering of the troops, they were able to capture Mia and take her out of the cabin. After that, they also tried to take Charlie. However, Welker tried to stop them until a modern hero called the Assassin arrived and engaged Welker in a fierce duel. The Assassin was able to throw Welker into a pillar, causing the cabin roof to collapse. However, the Assassin wasn't satisfied with attacking Welker. He then tried to move the debris aside, revealing Welker holding a small spear, and without hesitation, shooting it straight into the Assassin's throat, killing him. Meanwhile, outside the cabin, the Screamers managed to capture Charlie and Mia. Modor, who still thought that Charlie was the perpetrator of his son's murder, then tried to teach Charlie a lesson by ordering Lauren to shoot Mia. But before that, Modor had already removed all his bullets and only left one bullet. However, when Lauren was about to shoot Mia, Charlie immediately stopped her by blocking in front of Mia. At the same time, Eli arrives, bringing Ching, Vincent, and Jack. There, Eli reveals the truth. Ching worked with Vincent and Jack to kill Sui. Ching then says he feels betrayed because after their brother died, Modor would inherit the throne from Sui and not him. But in the midst of the commotion, Jack takes this opportunity to grab Eli's gun and start another riot. He aims his gun at Charlie. However, Lauren immediately blocks him, causing the bullet to hit Lauren instead. As a result, the shooting incident occurs again. Ching also grabbed a gun from the ground and fired it at the moderator. Meanwhile, Welker also prepared his gun to shoot Vincent and Jack. In the chaos, Ching was shot and killed. Meanwhile, in the last seconds before Lauren died, she told Charlie to keep looking after Mia. Besides that, Vincent, the greedy policeman, then still had time to take cocaine and left, with several wounds on his legs. Meanwhile, Jack was engaged in an intense gunfight with Eli. Just as Eli was about to shoot Jack at close range, his bullets suddenly ran out. Jack took this opportunity to shoot Eli dead. Fortunately, Charlie arrived just in time and shot Jack indiscriminately. Meanwhile, Welker pursued Vincent, who was attempting to escape on a train. However, Welker immediately shot him in the leg, causing Vincent to fall. Vincent refused to give up, turning around and shooting at Welker. However, Welker retaliated with a series of shots, killing Vincent. Afterward, Welker and Eli let Charlie and Mia leave before other police officers arrived. Afterward, Welker and Eli had a brief conversation, during which Welker asked Eli to arrest him. After all, Welker had once been a dishonest cop alongside Vincent and the others. However, Eli refused, wanting to keep the matter a secret. Eli also said he would deliver his Christmas present to Welker's daughter. However, Walker forbade him, not wanting to ruin her daughter's Christmas. And the film ended.